Christ Bless. We're here in Dallas, Texas, preparing the children for Passover, and we're teaching them what to throw away that is leavening and what not. A week before Passover, it's good practice to gather all your yeast and leave it on your countertops. This helps to ensure that your leavening doesn't get mixed in with all your other stuff in your pantry. Then the last day before Passover comes, you can take all that stuff and have the kids throw it in the trash. So first we start with yeast. Yeast is a leavening agent. We also do baking powder, baking soda, also known as sodium bicarbonate, and potassium bicarbonate. Common mistakes that people make throwing out leavening. You don't want to throw out your cornstarch, cream of tartar, brewer's yeast, and yeast extract. Those are safe to keep in your pantry. Another thing you don't want to throw away is your toothpaste, your deodorant, your cleaning products, and definitely don't throw away the laundry detergent. This is a great time to teach your children about the Passover. It's good to include them, and what we could do is have them look at the ingredients and throw them out.
So what's going on here, officer?
We're gonna have, right now, counting all this lamb, making sure we transport it the right way, make sure it stays fresh. Yeah, we got like 1,500 pounds of meat right here to get ready to feed the people. So right now we just separated. We got lamb, rack of lamb. We got the lamb loins. See that, y'all? See that, y'all? You see how fresh that is, y'all? Right, y'all? Ha!
Yeah, we're gonna have to tell them, Osmo, we're gonna have to sample the lamb to make sure it's safe.
Yeah, we're gonna have to sample about 500 pounds of this lamb.
To make sure it's good.
To make sure it's safe. So if y'all only get a couple of bites, blame Officer Masharaki.
Hey, the words of Captain Hoshai, it is what it is, man.
It is what it is, man. Here, well, this will all be cleaned up and wiped away. We'll have a table set across here. We'll be prepping all the lamb, just salt, and then we'll throw them out on the grill. We already got 3 of them back here. There will be a 4th one right here, super big. So we'll have all 4 grills going at once to make sure we get all the lamb, and then we'll have brothers transporting it to make sure that it gets to where it needs to be on time, so we can celebrate the Passover. So we got a lot of work to do.
Alright, so what we're selling here, original royalty. As far as you can see, we got IYC shirts, we have the cups, we have pens. We also have jackets as well as this that I have on.
I know we had to come down here and we had to set up a table for Judah Visions, man. You know, we're trying to bring these movies, we got comic books, we got short films, commercials, videos, pictures, photography. Hey, we're trying to take over the media game, man.
Yeah, the House of Boo, we have the well-known beer juice. We have the sister hair juice. We have the growth serum for brothers that are thinning in the top of their head. And we also have the baby formula for those kids that are suffering from dermatitis and cradle cow.
Owner of 12 Gates Emporium. Right here we got on display, we got the bandanas right here like this. Get them online, you can go to judahmac.com. We got the hair wraps for the sisters down here. We also got the garden flags over here.
So what I have here is all natural, handmade body butter. It's good for your hair and your skin. It locks in moisture and it gets rid of any blemishes on your skin.
With your cell phone and cell phone accessories, I have my own business, so that's something I wanted to put. First time out here, doing pretty good, you know what I mean? Something I wanted to try out and see how that went. But that's what we're doing here.
Fringe Nation, we bring exotic fringes, things for different events, whether it's some formal, whether it's something casual, depending on your style.
And we are Oils of Gladness. We specialize in natural-based fragrances that you can find in the scriptures and throughout the earth.
Welcome to Kingdom Jewels. So today we're selling Gadite feather earrings, as you can see. Also have arm cuffs. We also have body jewelry.
IUIC Houston camp with the Black Wall Street event, and what you see is selling here is you got the dry fit polo shirts and the dry fit shirt that you will see brothers wear to camp, usually when it's hot and things like that.
Rock Fit is a wellness program that gives you the opportunity to enhance your quality of life through biblical practices, personal fitness, and healthy nutritional practices.
My business is Fortress Nightwears, and I sell handmade nightwears, robes, pillowcases, and head wraps for sisters.
I am here to help Israel succeed professionally. So as you know, I am a real estate investor, a best-selling author, as well as the CEO of my own company. As you can see, I have many of my staff members on board. And we are offering professional success training programs to help you be able to succeed. If you want to know more about real estate, how to be able to grow your career, and even how to be able to make more money, come to the Urban Money Table.
This is Most High's Crown Jewels. We specialize in clothing busy women. They come already fringed and ready to wear our skirts too.
We are Peculiar Treasures, and what we customize is customized jewelry for men and women, customized necklaces, chains representing the 12 tribes of Israel.
This is the Shirts and Fringes booth right here. We got fringes, we got different style shirts. All these things are cost affordable. Check it out, judahmac.com, the mall at judahmac.com, where we showcase black businesses, Hispanic businesses, urban businesses. We're trying to bring our people up and elevate. judahmac.com, visit us, www.judahmac.com.
Here at PASSOVER 2K17 in Dallas, Texas. We have a commerce place today where you see many businesses selling products on their wares. And here at our business, what we're trying to do is provide clothes. So I'm gonna take a look. We're doing women's fashions, everything modest, lawful, fringed up, t-shirts, if you see, which was one of the focal points of what we began with when we branched out. And not just us, many other businesses. We're trying to keep the economy within us ourselves and our congregation, and then we're trying to share the wealth, hopefully, to be a good example to other congregations on what to do, how to keep the money amongst ourselves and pool our resources together. So we hope that it's edifying to y'all. Rise Israel.
When the high holy days come around, it's a party, we gonna have fun. Knowing that deliverance will come, give glory to the Lord, it's a celebration. Let's go. That's right. Let's celebrate. That's right. Let's celebrate. So let's dance, gather all around. Gonna get deliverance from the Holy One. Let's dance, gather all around. Gonna get deliverance from the Holy One. Let's dance, gather all around. Gonna get deliverance from the Holy One. Let's dance, gather all around. Gonna get deliverance from the Holy One.
Since you give me one more chance, I'ma celebrate and dance. For the good times, to the bad times, yeah. All I wanna do is just dance.
Come on now.
All I wanna do is just dance.
Come on.
All I wanna do is just dance. Put your hand up to the ceiling, yeah. Let me know just how you feeling.
I said I had to call him up. I made the phone call a Deacon like, what's up, is you ready for war? He replied, being ready for war, being ready for a battle with swords. And I respect him cause he fought many wars. I humble down to what the scriptures say and give doubles to the elders that been leading the way. I know it's hard in this walk and they've been walking for years. So when I'm weak in the flesh, they voice attend to my ears. A young man trying to...
Bishop gave the green light. Yeah, we bout that action. Call up all the regions and assemble all the factions. This is an organized nation and we active. It's time to get at them. Another shot dead in the street. Response time is imminent, less than a week. Our people need this medicine to wake them up from sleep. And how the hell they gonna get it if it ain't IUIC? Steady looking for...
We need more brothers like this. We need this nation to change and to be great as it was before.
Now, we're going to bring the lightning. Hand, salute. Christ bless. Salute. Down.
Hey, shalom. Musa Christ bless. We out here, Dallas, Texas. Right, we're having a camp right before the Passover. I know you got all the brothers. We'll say about roughly 200 brothers, 200 strong men. All right, we come out here to shut it down. That's it.
You ever seen this before?
No, I ain't never seen this in real life before, but it's good to see it, you know. There ain't nothing wrong with it. They ain't doing nothing wrong.
What's happening right now, Deacon? Talk to us.
We took over Dallas. That's what happened. We out here. I don't even want to give a number of how many men is out here, because this is the soldiers up. This is just a couple brothers with rank. We didn't bring everybody.
Some brothers had to stay back?
Yeah, we let some brothers stay back. They don't stay back and have class. The Warriors is here though. We get it in.
So what are you doing? You walking?
Listen good. Tupac, come in. Right here. Who's the king? Christ! Right here.
They say, oh, it's a hate group. There's an actual organization that posted us as a hate group, as though we're running around saying we hate the other nations, hate this, hurt people. Israel United Christ is not about any of that. We're about establishing our nation. Matter of fact, take a look real quick. What you see right here, this is Israel, like you said, the rebirth, coming back. This is us standing up and disciplining ourselves. This is what we're supposed to be. We're not supposed to be niggas.
We are IUIC, here to teach you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans who you are according to the Bible and what it takes to earn salvation. At ease, man.
Hey, man, I had nothing to say, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to soak in information, man, so I'll never go numb.
6 days shall thou labor, and thou shalt do all thy work. So 6 days, we're talking Sunday through Friday, we must labor and do all our work. And on the 7th day, we gotta shut it down and rest and teach our people. But y'all wanna make money. You after the filthy lucre. You wanna make some cash on the 7th day. You don't even care about the Lord.
If no one else knows, and for anyone out there that might see this as a hate group or a problematic organization to cause issues, rethink it. Go back, double check, and make sure.
They are good men. I mean, a lot of people, they're not listening to them. They don't take it serious, but I know what they're saying is right.
They talking about the right thing. We gotta know our history, man. And that's all I gotta say. We gotta know where we come from.
When you see life in people and you see men standing up being men, it's like a dying breed. So when you see brothers doing that and moving in a certain direction, don't tear them down. If you don't have anything nice to say, just don't say anything at all. Give them a fist pump, just say, brother, keep doing your thing.
Yeah, read the Bible once for myself, but you can see I missed all kind of scriptures. In the world, you could take for granted all the knowledge come with God commandments. Church line, the only thing I learned was paying tithes and tap dancing. Pastor made a couple dollars off me, got a Rolls Royce and a fat mansion. Lied to, I was so fooled, man, them church sermons is misleading. I ain't know about the Sabbath day, I would hit the club every single weekend. Dietary, I was never taught, I was shrimp chomping and pork eating. Fornication, idolatry, you pick one and I was into it.
It's easier to build strong children than to repair a broken man, okay? Because a lot of us in here are broken, coming to this truth being broken, all right? I want to open up with Deuteronomy chapter 6 regarding our children.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 7.
Start at 1.
Verse 1. Now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments that the Lord your God command to teach you, and that you might do them in the land whither you go to possess it, that you mightest fear the Lord thy God, to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee, that thou and thy son, and thy sons in all the days of thy life, and that thy days may be prolonged. Hear therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with thee, and that ye may be increased mightily, as the Lord God of thy fathers have promised thee in the land that floweth with milk and honey.
Jump down to verse 7.
Verse 7. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house.
So Moses is discussing with us, explaining to us all, one of the process to build strong children is to teach them God's commandments. And he gives you the blueprint. He says to teach them diligently when thou sittest in your house. Now, that don't mean necessarily you're going through each law, because children like visuals. Children need scenarios. Children need explanations in order to understand. You, as the parent, have to create the situation and ask them, what would you do in this situation? For example, read that again, verse 7.
Verse 7. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way.
Now, when you walkest by the way, meaning when you're walking down the street, wherever you are on your way, you have to create situations and challenge your children to see if they grasp the understanding of what it means by thou shalt not bear false witness, that they may grasp the meaning of what it means by thou shalt not steal, what it means by thou shalt have no other gods before me. You have to create situations, scenarios, or visuals so that your child can grasp it in different situations. Read that again, verse 7.
And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and thou shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down.
Now, when they're about to go to sleep, many times parents read bedtime stories to children. But your bedtime stories should be based upon God's commandments, okay? Not Jack and Jill went up a hill to catch a pail of water, not that. You create the scenario for your children, or create the story for your children, or how about this, read the history for your children in easy to be understood words regarding God's commandments, so that your child, whether male or female, will grasp the understanding of that law. Read.
Verse 7. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up.
And when you wake up in the morning, that's what it means, when thou risest up. So when you wake up, again, bring forth a particular moment in history of our ancestors. Ask them, what law is this pertaining to? Do you understand what that means? Okay, you have to, as the parent, create the scenario. Give me
Brothers is tired, man.
Bro, you know I went to bed at 5:30. And I heard the phone ringing. I was Captain Hoshaya. Bring your ass. I said, I'm in the lobby. I'm in the lobby.
See, now look, hey, you see the trial that's about to be at hand. You know, the scripture, Bishop brought out a class yesterday about being under that fire. See, you truly tested. See, this 5-9. This is 5. This is, I should have been here.
What is so that? Put it at the box.
So now we're going to have to put it in these bins. This overworking us. We be overworking. I'm going to have to get my pregnant wife. I have to get my pregnant wife to help out over there, bruh.
The brother said, hey, all you gotta do is show up at 10 and grill.
Get on shellac and tell them, look, hey, I need the best damn brothers in Israel right now. Over here at the house.
Cooking for Israel, bro. I'm honored. I wouldn't want to be nowhere else than right here doing this for Israel, man. I'm helping prepare Passover lamb for Israel. That's a blessing right there.
Hey, shalom, y'all. Hey, we getting it. Come on, man. Come check this out. Don't you want to be here? Don't you want to partake in this? Oh man, this right here, I can't. This is amazing, bro. We all and this is an amazing thing about it too. You got people from different places. I'm from Kansas City. You got New Orleans, Indiana, but we all
started in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Now I'm in Oklahoma.
Right. You know, but everybody brung together their skills and made it that much more better. That much more better. Ain't nobody arguing about whose style is better than whose style. We just bring it all together.
Because we masters.
Yeah.
Masters know how to work together, man.
Exactly. Yeah. You ever wonder how IURC does the Passover? Check this out. Come on. Look at this. The juice falling off. That's how we do it here. IURC. Look, I know y'all getting ready right now. Y'all sitting there. Y'all all decked out for Passover in your garments. You looking beautiful. And you looking at this right now. This is what you gonna get. This right here is what you gonna get. Look, we getting it in. We getting it in. All praise to the Most High God. We getting it in.
Now follow me over here. We ain't finished Israel. Hold on. We got this over here. We got this going over here. We ain't playing no games.
Is this grill number 2?
Grill number 2.
That's grill number 2?
Yes, sir. Right, it's not ready to flip this yet. But same thing. You know. All right, so you got grill number 3.
Who's that right there?
Captain right there.
Man, y'all know who the hell this is.
No, but look, hey man, Passover 2017, man. Y'all see this meat? You see this prime? Hey, look, I'm telling you, man. Look, that's prime choice rib right there. You know what I'm saying? Look at that goldish brown right there. That goldish brown texture. You know, if you missing Passover 2017, man, you don't know what you missing. You know what I'm saying? For real. On the grill once again. But I mean, I'd have been on the grill 4 Passover. 4 Passover. I'm looking for a young man to pass the torch to. Maybe the older man. It don't matter, but y'all brothers gonna have to step up. Now look, I'm gonna show you something, Israel. Look, let's come over here. Now you know me. It's me being the grill master. You know I'm working 2 grills over here. You know what I'm saying? Look at that. Oh.
Now look. Look at the texture of that meat. You see the texture of that? See, man, look, I'm gonna tell you, see, they be slacking, man. They be slacking. See, y'all gotta stop slacking. See, the scriptures say the thought of the diligent tend to plenteous. You see,
Bring it out.
You see the plenteous out here?
Bring it out.
But the slothful tend to not. Look at that right here. Ooh, 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 ooh. These rack of lambs. These are rack of lambs right here, man. This is a rack of lambs. For real. So, hey, look, Israel, look, Passover 2017. Grill masters out here. Y'all see us every year. Y'all eat it every year. If you ain't here this year, you need to be here next year, Lord's willing.
I'm officially a grill master. I made it to a grill master this year. Alright?
Nah,
so
you was a grill master last year, man. He was a grill master last year.
Okay.
Yeah. He was a grill master last year, man. For real. These brothers made grill. We waiting on the other grill master, but he ain't here yet, though. You know what I'm saying? Look, we started early. We gotta get up early, man. We can't start late, because we got a lot of lamb to cook. Lots of lamb. So you gotta get up early. Gotta do it. We gonna be cooking this lamb all the way to Passover night. Till the sun crack. We gonna come in, we gonna eat good, bitter herb, drink wine, perform. 2017. Y'all need to be here next year, Lord's willing. If Christ ain't cracked that sky, but we praying he cracked that sky. All praise. Shalom.
Shalom. Hey, shalom, shalom. It's Officer Azaniah, the official taste tester of Passover 2K17. I'm about to bite all your lamb ribs and then put them on your plate. It's gonna be good. Shalom.
Who we talking about right here?
Oh, you know what I'm saying? It's
Master Chef.
all praise to the Most High.
Master
You know
Chef
what I'm
right there.
saying? Officer Azariah out of Oklahoma City, by way of Tennessee, by way of slave ships, Deuteronomy 28:68.
Nice. He picked that up. 'Cause you know nigga be like this. He picked that quick.
Hey man, hey, all praise to the Most High. We got the Passover lamb going. We're gonna get it nice for him this year, man. All praise. Hold on. We gotta get it right. Come on. Look at the juice. Look at how it's juicy. Look at it running. Look at that drip. Hey man.
Like some brothers like to have big grills just to say, I have a big grill. You know, hold on, I've been eating. Damn. Excuse me. Yeah, the brother got a big grill. But he don't just got a big grill to have a big grill. He know what you got. Tell me what you got, bro. Tell me what all you brought, man.
Man, it just brought tools for the trade, man. Just to
Oh,
help
he
people
bought
out,
it.
man. Just
He
to help
got
people out. This
He got the timers. He got the tongs. He got the coolers. You know what I'm saying?
It ain't on yet. Just be patient, brother. I'm just trying to follow y'all's lead. You know, I'm not trying to make myself equal to great men. I'm just over here.
Check this out. For 3 to 4 years now, I've been looking for a brother I can pass the torch to. We think it might be this brother right now.
Don't put me on that pedestal here, brother. Just let me get in the groove. Let me get in the groove.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're live. Back of Officer Masharathi's house. We've got Brother Jacob here, and he's going to show you what we got going on here. Go ahead and tell the people.
I'm about to apply fervent heat to this here grill so that we can take that there oil off of it, okay?
Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Oh, Jesus, there's a fire. Now, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Everyone give this man a round of applause.
All right. All right. All right.
I'm gonna have to take one of those. Man, say y'all behind the scenes right now, man, to know what it takes to put this Passover together, man. You know what I'm saying? We got 4 grills working right now. We got 5 brothers on 4 grills. You know what I'm saying? We're just trying to get this food in order. And a lot of you people, y'all been complaining for the past couple of years. You know, hey, it ain't enough. Or whatever. You know, so I'm gonna show you what the scriptures say about this. Numbers 11:1. And when the people complain, it displeased the Lord. When you complain, it displeased the Lord. Remember when we was in the wilderness, after we just kept the Passover, our people started complaining.
Nah, come on, look, I'm gonna show y'all something, Israel. Come on. Look at this meat. We got the best meat right here. We got this prime cut meat. We got the best type of meat to feed Israel with. That's why the Most High say he hate when Israel complain. These brothers out here that's on the grill, that's putting in the work that you see right now, none of these brothers getting paid. See that? Full of meat, full of meat. Now look, I want to show y'all something. And as you see, 4 grills is working right now. Brothers hustling. Now look, I'm gonna show y'all. To keep your meat fresh, look at this. See that steam just flew out of there. To keep your meat fresh, we put it up inside these coolers to hold the moisture, to hold the heat. You know what I'm saying? To keep the meat fresh, to keep it tasting good, to keep it juicy. So when you get the meat, you're gonna love it, it's gonna be on point, and you have a good Passover experience. So remember, when you complain, it displeases the Lord. Because a lot of y'all don't know what it takes to feed what? Close to 1,500 people a year. And every year as we grow, we're going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, you know what I'm saying? So instead of complaining, you know what I'm saying, some of y'all need to come and put your brick in. Put your brick in. Help us get bigger grills, you know what I'm saying? Shalom. All right, Israel. It's time to make sure that y'all going to eat well. 2017 Passover lamb, and it's going down in a major way. You ready? Tender, succulent. You don't even have to season lamb for the Passover. Y'all in for a treat, Israel.
If you see one missing, one piece. Into the wild blue yonder.
This the final Passover. The mighty forefather Moses came up the stream floating and not knowing that the Lord already had words spoken that one day he would come up under Pharaoh and learn all the ways of the Egyptians, including the Pharaoh, and he witnessed one of his brothers.
Hey, Shalom, bro. We pulling up in the dock right now, so we're gonna need some brothers to help.
Oh, okay. Let me get you some brothers.
Yeah.
How many you need?
We're gonna need about 6.
Okay, cool.
Y'all apart, I just need your.
All right.
It's hella heavy. What you trying to do? Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Alright, so the way that you want to go for this and not cut the bone is you want to feel in through here and you can feel where it comes out. Alright? That way you ain't got to cut the bone to break it right in here. Alright, feel that? Come in here. Alright? Alright, you're going to get in here and you're going to see this bone. And there he is, right there. That's bam. Come in here, right in through that piece. All right. So now I'm gonna cut right in here.
You want to know what the dessert looks like and what we serving it on.
All right.
No. Damn, hey, I'm gonna do this one. This shit about to break my time.
them I hate for? Where them I hate for?
Again, the official taste test of Passover 2017. Now what I have here is one of the keys to the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Unleavened bread. Made by, who is this? What is this? The sweet potato unleavened heaven. I'm gonna try it, guys. It tastes like a sweet potato pie. God is good.
Talk them a talk and we no cater. See through your lies, you a faker. Backstabber, you a traitor. Hypocrite can't slow me down. Grabbing a barrel can't hold me down. Never gonna take my crown. I'ma keep moving on. Hypocrite can't slow me down. Grabbing a barrel can't hold me down. Never gonna take my crown. I'ma keep moving on. I'ma keep moving on. No pay them no mind. No mind. No pay them no mind. No mind. Them too bad mind. Them too bad mind. They don't want to see we shine. They don't want to see we shine. No pay them no mind. No mind. No pay them no mind. No mind.
Israel, Bishop on deck. Hand salute.
Most High in Christ bless all Israel. Shalom, sisters.
Salute down.
Be seated. All right, Joseph from prisoner to ruler. As many of you know, his name was changed to Zaphnath-Paneah, the man to whom mysteries are revealed. This is archaeology on the right-hand side, taken from Our Living Bible, showing you Joseph in Egypt on the right, as y'all can see him sitting there, watching the workmen. Next slide, please. Okay, Genesis 41. Let me get up to Moses time. Let me get up to Moses. Okay, right there. Write this down. Some of you know this, some of you don't. The Israelites were in Egypt from the 17th dynasty until the 19th dynasty. 19th at the beginning is when we made our Exodus. Okay, the Pharaoh that ruled was Ramses II. Okay, now these are some of the pharaohs that ruled from the 17th to the 19th. Some of y'all know Nefertiti on the my far left. You have Thutmose III. You have Tutankhamun. You had Queen Hatshepsut. She was the first female pharaoh that sat on the throne. She was a lesbian, dyke. Excuse my language. You got Ramses II there. You got Kamose. You got Nebma-Tri. And Amenhotep III. There were many, many, many others. Remember, we were in Egypt 400 years, so that's just not 8 people that ruled over us, okay? Next slide, please. Exodus 1. It says, now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. Write this down. When it says new king, highlight that part, new king. It makes reference to the new kingdom. New kingdom. You had the old kingdom, middle kingdom, and new kingdom. The new kingdom was from the time of the 17th on. That's when the Israelites were there multiplying. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. And all that we're about to read relates to us today. What we're reading here in Exodus chapter 1 relates to us today. Excuse me if I'm blocking everything. I apologize. Verse 10. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Y'all see that part where it says, come on, let us deal wisely with them? That's the same thing that Psalms, the 83rd chapter says. I believe it's verse 3. Can somebody read that for me?
Psalms chapter 83 and verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
Stop. So when it says, come on, let us deal wisely with them, it's saying the same thing that all the nations did. What did the Egyptians do? They set up taskmasters. They chose certain Israelites in positions of authority and power to be over the other Israelites. That's the same thing that America has done. They put us in positions of Congress, assemblymen, politicians, police, lawmakers, judges, prosecutors, so forth and so on. So it's saying the same thing. Come on, let us deal wisely with them. The military, they put us in their military as well. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies. So just like today, thank you. Just like today, our people are not talking about leaving this place at all. Why? Because we have positions of a power here. We have authority here, some authority here. We fill in military, so forth and so on. So we're not thinking about leaving. Verse 11, therefore they did set over them taskmasters. That's what I was talking about. They set rulers of the Israelites, high-paying positions, okay? Like Dathan, Korah, and On were just a few, to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. Write this down. Pithom and Ramses are located in the Valley of the Kings. Some of you may have gone to Egypt and may have visited the Valley of the Kings. That is where Pithom and Ramses is located, okay? But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. Now, many, I want to go back to Pithom and Ramses. They say, hey, that doesn't say pyramids there. Give me the part in the Apocrypha with Simon. Find me that. Pyramids. Yeah, the treasure cities is referring to their temples of Egypt and their pyramids. That is exactly what it's referring to. And when people say the Israelites did not build pyramids, that's a lie. We're going to prove it to you right here. Where we going? It's in Maccabees.
First Maccabees chapter 13 and verse 28. Moreover, he set up 7 pyramids, one against another, for his father and his mother and his 4 brethren.
So Israel did build pyramids, okay? So don't let nobody deceive you, these Kemetic community, the unconscious community, and say, hey, that don't say pyramids there. The treasure cities are pyramids, and the precept that we went to in Maccabees is the proof we did build pyramids. So when you see those pyramids throughout Guatemala, Peru, those are Israelites, okay? Verse 12, but the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, just like here in America. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. And he made their lives bitter with hard bondage, in mortar and in brick and in all manner of service in the fields. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor. Next slide, please. Okay, here's an example. This is the Valley of the Kings here. This is a painting. Next slide. Okay, this is more archaeology here. Next slide, please. This is also from the book Our Living Bible. Y'all could buy this on Amazon.com. I believe it only costs about maybe $30 today. And he made their lives bitter with hard bondage and mortar, and in brick and in all manner of service in the field. Exodus 1:14. Notice at the bottom, one of the back-breaking tasks of the Israelites in bondage. Look at their color. Look at their color. These are black men, okay? One of the back-breaking tasks of the Israelites, because they're telling you who this is. This is taken from a tomb. Was the making of bricks at the left. Water is being drawn to moisten the clay. Next it is kneaded and then center carried to 2 men who are making bricks into molds. Finally, the bricks are put out to dry. In the lower panel, the temple is being built of the new bricks. Next slide, please. Before we get there, give me Exodus chapter 1, where Pharaoh, I believe it was Seti the first, made that edict to kill the coming Messiah. Somebody find me that one. It's in the 1st chapter with Shiphrah and Puah. Listen, watch this. I'm going to show you something.
Exodus chapter 1 and verse 16.
Listen good.
And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife.
Wait, go to, I want their names. Go to the verse above it.
Verse 15. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives.
The king of Egypt, write this down, that's speaking here is Seti. Seti, this is the father of Ramses. Go ahead.
Of which the name of the one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, will you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools? If it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live.
Right, go ahead.
Verse 17. But the midwives feared God.
That's the type of woman the Most High is looking for. The type that does not fear governmental powers. He said, but the midwives, Shiphrah and Puah, feared God. Go ahead.
And did not as the king of Egypt commanded them.
And they did not as the king of Egypt commanded them. Come on.
But save the men, children alive.
But save the men, children alive. Now, I wanted that for a reason. I was in Tallahassee, and there was a young man that stood up and said, the Bible is about chauvinism. The Bible keeps women down. And there were some women sitting next to them nodding their heads. I said, I don't know what Bible you're reading. You're sorely mistaken. Have you ever heard of Queen Esther? They said no. I said, have you ever heard of Shiphrah and Puah? No. I said, have you ever heard of Deborah? No. Give me the next one. Give me Micah chapter 6, verse 4. Watch this. I'm going to blow your minds with this one.
Micah chapter 6 and verse 4. For I brought thee up out of the land of Egypt.
For I brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. This is the holiday we're serving and celebrating today. Go ahead.
And redeemed thee out of the house of servants, and I sent before thee Moses.
And I sent before thee Moses,
Aaron, and Miriam.
And Miriam. Was that it?
Verse 5. O my people, remember now what Balak king of Moab consulted. And
so what I wanted out of there is that the Most High included in that Miriam. A lot of times most camps won't read that verse because it mentions Miriam in the sentence. We always say just Moses. It wasn't just Moses. It was Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. What was Miriam's part? Give me Exodus 15 and 20, please.
Exodus, the 15th chapter and the 20th verse.
We often read the part in Numbers 12 about how Miriam got out of order, which she did get out of order. And I'm saying this especially to you sisters here in Babylon, because there's a mindset in America that's not in the third world countries that we notice. When our sisters read the Bible, like we just read the verse about Miriam being sent forth with Moses and Aaron, many women in America say, oh, that means the woman's over the man. That does not mean that. And it's funny, when we're in Ghana, those women don't interpret it like that. But for some reason, the American-minded Negro women, they interpret that to mean that. And it doesn't mean that. That's why we always go to Numbers 12. Now let me show you Miriam's role. Exodus 15 and 20.
Exodus chapter 15 and verse 20. And Miriam the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dances.
Miriam was in order at that point, where the women followed her lead. Shiphrah and Puah were women that followed her lead. There was an order, always order, structured organization amongst our people that the Most High set up and ordained amongst the men and amongst the women. The only time the Most High cursed Miriam is when she went against Moses. She said, I'm equal to you. And that's many of the problems that brothers have here in America. Go back to Exodus 1, and let's go back to the next slide. Let's see the next slide. Exodus 7. All right. Verse 17. Thus saith the Lord, in this thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Behold, I will smite with the rod that is in mine hand upon the waters which are in the river, and they shall be turned to blood. And the fish that is in the river shall die, and the river shall stink, and the Egyptians shall loathe to drink of the water of the river. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying to Aaron, take thy rod and stretch out thine hand upon the waters of Egypt, upon their streams, upon their rivers, and upon their ponds, and upon all their pools of water, that they may become blood. and that there may be blood throughout all the land of Egypt, both in the vessels of wood and in the vessels of stone. Now, you know why that's important? They'll show you on the Discovery Channel, oh, there was a mudslide. There was a red mountain up in the mountain somewhere, and it had red clay, and it oozed down, and everything turned to appear like blood. But notice what it says, both in vessels of wood and in vessels of stone. So if water was water in a vessel, that water itself turned to blood. Everybody understand that? So it wasn't because of a mudslide. Verse 20. And Moses and Aaron did so as the Lord commanded, and he lifted up the rod and smote the waters that were in the river in the sight of Pharaoh and in the sight of his servants. And all the waters that were in the river were turned to blood. And the fish that was in the river died, and the river stank. And the Egyptians could not drink of the water of the river, and there was blood throughout all the land of Egypt. Many of you may see this idol here, Sobek. He had the head of a crocodile, okay? And they used to worship this thing, and they taught the Israelites to worship this foolishness here. Next slide, please. Exodus 8. Actually, read for me, I believe it's Exodus 12 and 12, I think, about the gods. Yeah, read that for me. I want to show you something, because people are saying, oh, you shouldn't be talking about those gods. You have to understand why the Most High carried out certain plagues. Because your children will ask you, why did he plague the water, the rivers, Ma, with blood? You have to know a little bit about the history in order to understand why these certain plagues were carried out. Read that for me, Exodus 12 and 12.
Exodus, the 12th chapter and the 12th verse. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt.
You hear that? God will smite all the gods of Egypt. Was that it?
I will execute judgment. I am the Lord.
So God executed judgment upon all the gods of Egypt. So now we just went over one false god. So your children may ask, why was the rivers turned to blood? You as the parent have to know the Egyptians worshipped a god that with the head of a crocodile called Sobek, the river god. So now this was the next one, Heket, the frog idol. Exodus 8 and 5. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying to Aaron, stretch forth thine hand with thy rod over the streams, over the rivers, and over the ponds, and cause frogs to come up upon the land of Egypt. And Aaron stretched out his hand over the waters of Egypt, and the frogs came up and covered the land of Egypt. And the magicians did so with their enchantments, because the Egyptians were into witchcraft, and brought up frogs upon the land of Egypt. Then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron and said, entreat the Lord that he may take away the frogs from me and from my people, and I will let the people go, that they may do sacrifice unto the Lord. You know what's funny about this? The Most High allowed the magicians to mimic that miracle, right? But the magicians could not undo what was done through the hand of Moses and Aaron. That's why it says Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron. Why didn't he call for the magicians? Because the magicians could not undo what was being done. Okay, so your children may ask, what about frogs, Mom? What about frogs, Dad? Why that one? Because they worship Heket, the frog idol. Y'all see that right there? These are from the tombs. Okay, this is what another god the Egyptians were worshiping, and they taught us to worship the same thing. Just like here in America, we worship the white image of Jesus. We worship, what we worship here, Mary. What's that guy, Lazarus, with the dogs running around his feet? You know the Puerto Ricans be serving that thing. So now, back then, you see, they had us worshiping this stuff. Okay, next slide, please. Exodus 8, this is Kepri, the scarab idol. Many of y'all see that in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. I guess that's the name of it, where they had the scarabs. That was the movie, right? Was that the movie? The Mummy? Was it the Mummy? Okay, the Mummy, I'm sorry, the Mummy. Verse 16, and the Lord said unto Moses, say unto Aaron, stretch out thy rod, and smite the dust of the land, that it may become lice throughout all the land of Egypt. And they did so. For Aaron stretched out his hand with his rod, and smote the dust of the earth, and it became lice in man and in beast. All the dust of the land became lice throughout all the land of Egypt. And the magicians did so with their enchantments to bring forth lice, but they could not. So there were lice upon man and upon beasts. Then the magician said unto Pharaoh, this is the finger of God. And Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he hearkened not unto them, as the Lord had said. And the Lord said unto Moses, rise up early in the morning, and stand before Pharaoh. Lo, he cometh forth to the water, and say unto him, thus saith the Lord, let my people go, that they may serve me. Else, if thou wilt not let my people go, behold, I will send swarms of flies upon thee, and upon thy servants. Now you may ask about, I don't understand, why flies? Give me that in the Apocrypha, about the flies. Wisdom of Solomon, find me that, about how they bit them. I don't know how many of y'all come from down south or Jamaica. They got flies that bite, and the things hurt like hell. I ain't seen them things up here up in New York, but I know down south we call them horse flies. Them things hurt like hell. I used to get bit all the time. Then I went to Jamaica and got bit again. So what the hell is this? You found it for me? Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12. I remember when I first came into the truth, I remember asking the leadership, I'm like, I don't understand about flies. Then the elder reminded me about down south. I said, there you go, that's it right there. Some of y'all just think about Ethiopia, how they be sitting on their eyes. No, not them type of flies. These flies bite that the Lord sent. It's going to say that in the Apocrypha. Where is it? 16.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 16 and verse 9. Verse 8. And in this thou madest thine enemies confess, that it is thou who deliverest from all evil. For them the bitings of grasshoppers and flies killed, neither was there found any remedy for their life.
Read it again. You ran past what it said. Read that again.
Verse 9. For them the bitings of grasshoppers.
The bitings of grasshoppers.
And flies.
And flies.
Killed.
The flies in the grasshopper was killing people. They were killing the Egyptians. So ain't these house flies you got in New York, not them things. Not the ones in Ethiopia that sit on your eyelids. Not them. Them flies that bite with teeth. Those type of flies. They were biting them and killing them. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Thank you, brothers. All right, you got Hathor, however you pronounce it, the cow idol. Exodus 9 and 3. Behold, the hand of the Lord is upon the cattle which are in the field, upon the horses, upon the asses, upon the camels, upon the oxen, and upon the sheep. There shall be a very grievous murrain, and the Lord shall sever between the cattle of Israel and the cattle of Egypt, and there shall nothing die of all that is in the children of Israel. And the Lord appointed a set time, saying, tomorrow the Lord shall do this thing in the land. And the Lord did that thing on the morrow, and all the cattle of Egypt died. But of the cattle of the children of Israel died not one. This is the symbol. You see the horns on top of the woman's head. It represented the cow goddess. Okay? That's what these horns. Not the little cows you see here in America, like down south, I always reflected. Not with them little horns. When you go to like Africa, they got them other kind of cattle with those huge horns just like this. I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking about. But they got them big horns, okay? Next slide, please. This was the 5th plague we just read. Now we're going to the 6th one. Ketesh, Exodus 9 and 8. And the Lord said unto Moses and unto Aaron, take to you handfuls of ashes of the furnace, and let Moses sprinkle it toward the heaven in the sight of Pharaoh. And it shall become small dust in all the land of Egypt. And it shall be a boil, breaking forth with blains upon man and upon beast throughout all the land of Egypt. And they took ashes of the furnace and stood before Pharaoh. And Moses sprinkled it up toward heaven, and it became a boil, breaking forth with blains upon man and upon beast. And the magicians could not stand before Moses because of the boils, for the boil was upon the magicians and upon all the Egyptians. So they worshiped this goddess of beauty. The Most High said, no, I'm going to show the people you're not a beautiful people. Okay? So they got plagued. So let's go to the 7th plague, please. All right. The idol goddess of the sky. I don't know if you say Nut or Nut, whichever way. Exodus 9 and 22. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch forth thine hand toward heaven, that there may be hail in all the land of Egypt, upon man and upon beast and upon every herb of the field throughout the land of Egypt. And Moses stretched forth his rod toward heaven, and the Lord sent thunder and hail, and the fire ran along upon the ground, and the Lord rained hail upon the land of Egypt. Now, there's a scripture in the Apocrypha, if y'all know where it is, let me know, where it says there was fire was on the water. You know what I'm talking about? Somebody find me that one. It's been a while. But it said it was so hot, water could not quench the fire that came from heaven. Wisdom of Solomon, 19, 20. Let's read that.
Wisdom of Solomon, the 19th chapter and the 20th verse. The fire had power in the water, forgetting his own virtue.
See that? The fire had power in the water, forgetting its virtue. So the fire was like, oh, I forgot I was supposed to be quenched by this water, but I'm not being quenched. That's how hot that fire was. Go ahead.
And the water forget his own quenching nature.
And the water forgot its nature. I'm supposed to put fire out, right? I ain't got that power right now. Go ahead.
On the other side, the flames wasted not the flesh of the corruptible living things, though they walked therein. Neither melted they the ice kind of heavenly meat that was of nature apt to melt.
So that it didn't even it didn't touch the ice, the cold things. It didn't quench them either. So now let's go to the next one. Osiris. Many of y'all heard of this false god, the idol god of vegetation and death. Many of these idols were translated into Greek and took on Greek names. Okay, Exodus 10 and 12. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand over the land of Egypt for the locusts. We just read about the locusts, how they were biting and killing the Egyptians also. That they may come up upon the land of Egypt and eat every herb of the land, even all the hail, even all that the hail hath left. And Moses stretched forth his rod over the land of Egypt, and the Lord brought an east wind upon the land of all that day and all that night. And when it was morning, the east wind brought the locusts. And the locusts went up over all the land of Egypt and rested in all the coast of Egypt. Very grievous were they. Before them there was no such locust as they, neither after them shall be such. So the Most High did a new thing with these locusts. For they covered the face of the whole earth so that the land was dark. And when it says the face of the whole earth, it's referring to Egypt, where Israel was. Okay? For they covered the face of the whole earth so that the land was darkened. And they did eat every herb of the land and all the fruit of the trees which the hail had left. And there remained not any green thing in the trees or in the herbs of the field throughout all the land of Egypt. So when it said all the whole earth, it's referring to the land of Egypt. Next slide, please. Ninth plague, Ra. Many of you have heard of this god, this false god, the head of a bird. Okay, Exodus 10:21. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand toward heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt. I want to read that in the Apocrypha. Give me that one. Wisdom of Solomon, I believe it's chapter 19, if I'm not mistaken. Where it talks, it's 17, where it talks about the darkness was so they heard skipping beasts. Yeah, find me that one.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17 and verse 3. For while they supposed to lie hid in their secret sins, they were scattered under a dark veil of forgetfulness, being horribly astonished and troubled with strange apparitions.
You know, I like that part there because I was watching I'm going back to the movie. Indiana Jones, I'm sure it's this one. The first one, what was the name of the first one?
Lost Ark.
And Raiders of the Lost Ark. When they found, quote unquote, the Ark, I don't know how many of y'all saw the movie. They opened the Ark, and Indiana Jones says, don't open your eyes. And there's a strange apparition comes up, and it's a woman's face, very lovely, and they're looking, and then her face turns to a skeleton, and then the Edomites' faces all turned to skeletons, and their heads exploded. I thought that was funny. So when I read this, I reflected on that. Read that part again.
For while they supposed to lie hid in their secret sins, they were scattered under a dark veil of forgetfulness, being horribly astonished and troubled with strange apparitions.
Strange apparitions. Go ahead.
For neither might the corner that held them keep them from fear.
So you know when you're scared, sometimes you back yourself up into a corner to gain your bearings. It said the corner couldn't give them no comfort. Read.
But noises as of waters falling down sounded about them.
It was so dark, but they could hear noises of waters about them, and they could see strange apparitions in front of them. Go ahead.
And sad visions appeared unto them.
Imagine you in the dark. It's so dark, and you see images of sad apparitions, strange things in front of your face, deadly things, things of death, reflecting death. Go ahead.
And sad visions appeared unto them with heavy countenances.
With heavy countenances. Go ahead.
No power of the fire might give them light.
So they tried to light a torch, and the torch was useless in this darkness. Go ahead.
Neither could the bright flames of the stars endure to lighten that horrible night.
The light of the stars could not illuminate Egypt. Go ahead.
Only there appeared unto them a fire kindled of itself.
So there was fire that appeared to be kindled of its own self in front of the Egyptians. Go ahead.
Very dreadful.
Imagine you in the dark and it's like a raging fire in front of you. You're going to be screaming. So they were seeing all these various things. Go ahead.
For being much terrified, they thought the things which they saw to be worse than the sight they saw not.
They thought it was worse than a sight that they saw not. Read.
As for the illusions of art magic,
their Egyptian magicians,
they were put down.
They were put down. They were useless to undo what God had done. Go ahead.
And their vaunting in wisdom was reproved with disgrace.
And their vaunting in wisdom, their bragging of their wisdom was what?
Reproved with disgrace.
With disgrace. Read.
For they that promised to drive away the terrors and troubles from a sick soul were sick themselves of fear.
So you had these magicians, their healers and clerics that said we could heal anything, but the Most High plagued them with sickness, so they couldn't even heal themselves. Go ahead.
Worthy to be laughed at.
They were worthy to be laughed at. And our people want to glorify Egypt. You've got to be kidding me. Go ahead.
For though no terrible thing did fear them, yet being scared with beasts that passed by.
Imagine you in a corner in the dark and a tiger run by you. Or a lion run by you. Go ahead.
They died for fear.
They died. Or a moose. You might ask yourself, a moose ain't scary. If you ever seen a moose is scary. The head of a moose will be up this high. And the antlers on that thing is huge. Okay? And them things weigh about 1,000 pounds. You're going to be scared to run by you.
Jeremiah chapter 16. What verse, sir?
14.
Verse 14. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt.
There's going to come a day when we're not going to talk about our deliverance from Egypt ever again. We're not going to mention it. But, go ahead.
But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north.
That's North America. That's going to be the new Passover. That's what we're going to honor in the kingdom. That's what we're going to honor and celebrate, the deliverance from the land of the north. Because this is the headquarters of Babylon. This is the headquarters of Esau and the nations. Okay? So that's what we're going to talk about and give honor and praise to of the Lord. Let's get a Lord a hand for that.
Shalom, family. Most High in Christ bless you all. Thank the Most High God and His Son that we were able to all come together, and we pray for the lives of the brothers and sisters that celebrate this high holy day in their cities, that they can be in one mind, one spirit, in the glory of the Most High for the deliverance that He gave His children. So we pray that all you that are watching, that you are having a fabulous feast over there, and that you're with us in the spirit. I want to make a mention tonight, because we're about to conclude in a few, so we can begin the feast. But in this year, we lost somebody very special to us, a brother who's labored in this congregation. He is of impeccable report, and he was going to join us here for Passover, but he was called home for the Father. But in the spirit, we pray that he's with us, and we all want to stand and salute our brother, set up a prayer for him. He was a soldier.
Yes.
I think he should be raised up to officer today. Do you all agree?
Yes.
Officer Barack Bar. What we have here today, we have a picture of our brother right here and his garment, which he purchased, and he was coming to celebrate with us. So we want to send up a prayer to the Most High God for him, and we salute our brother officer Barack. We all can sit. Now, real quick, I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna allow the bishop and the deacons who are in New York, if they want to expound anything on the brother. What I've known of him, he was great. He was steady. What you saw, and this is so important in this truth, what you saw in Barack was what you got. There was no pretense in him. He was who he was. And it's very rare to find people like that with that spirit. And we love him, and we love him very much, deeply. So when you get a chance, you can walk by, you can see those that don't know who we're talking about, you'll see him right here, Officer Barack Barr's photo and his garment. Bishop?
Yeah, there was one incident we had with him at camp where he had a slight seizure. So once he came through in the ambulance, I said to him, I said, Barack Bar, don't go to camp no more. Take it easy. So he looked at me. He said, no, I'm going to keep going to camp. He said, if I die, I want to die doing the work of the Most High. So I give him honor for that thing. When we got the schools in the building, he was instrumental in helping us, greater than some strong brothers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Barack Bar was, he was a pillar among us. And he exemplified what dedication is all about and diligence. That was one of the things that I personally took from him. Barack Bar was the type of brother that would show what diligence was all about, because he would be the first one on the scene to do anything that he saw there was a need to do, even small things that we overlooked. There was in the school we have a water cooler, the water cooler that sits in the back of the school, and there's a drain cup that's in the back. We didn't even realize that thing had to be changed, because he would take the initiative without even telling anybody anything, and would constantly change it. All of a sudden, we noticed that this wasn't getting done. We noticed that it was getting done because it sat there. Then we realized, well, wait a minute, who used to take care of this? And Officer IBL pointed that out. He said, Soldier, because he was Soldier at that time, he said, Soldier Barack Bar would take care of this, and he never told anybody about it because he just saw that needed to be done. See, this is the kind of example that Barack Bar meant to us. He would do things not to be seen, not for somebody, hey, look, I did this. That wasn't his spirit. He was really an example of how we all should be. And this is the reason why I say that when it comes to people that come into the body and bring forth their good works, we are to learn from that. And how do you honor our brothers, our ancestors who come through and give their diligence? That when they pass on, what do they mean to you? You should not have to be told to do anything. He left that kind of example with us. And that's what we need to think about. That's what we need to think about. Okay.
Captain Nine knows the story better than I do. He had a seizure because he had a lot of ailments, so he would have occasional seizures from time to time. And he was in the school trying to repair it, and he caught a seizure. So he laid him down. He said, "I'm gonna rest for a little while." I said, "You sure you want to go home?" He said, "Nah, I'm gonna rest for a little while." I took a nap. I said, "All right, time to fix the school." And went and tried to fix the school after he had a seizure. So he never cared. He said, "It had to get done. Work out." He would sweep. He would clean. And he always had always had jokes. Always had old school music to play in his MP3 player. So he was always upbeat, never negative, never depressing. Always had something positive to say. Never, as sick as he was, never anything. Yeah, woe was me. Never that. He was always upbeat, always positive, always encouraging all the time. Always had jokes. He was a funny brother, man. I will definitely miss him. Always miss that brother. Unforgettable.
I had a chance to get to know Brother Boagba and Officer Boagba in New York when I used to live in New York. He actually started with us at 1088.
Right.
And I remember when we was doing the basement. Remember our second school? When we was in the basement in the Bronx. What I pick up from him, what I learned from him is the humbleness. That's a very, very humble brother. A very humble brother, very kind spirit. And I see the work he was doing. You know another thing about Boagba? Boagba was never the type of brother he never teach in the street. But the thing he do more than the brother that teach in the street. The work he do, that brother never complain about nothing. Nothing. He's always sweeping, always pick up. He was a really, really big help on our second building, the second school we have in the basement. And I had a chance to get to know him. And I'm definitely going to miss that brother. I just pray, Mosai, that I see that brother again one day. Yep. Praise.
Also, one thing y'all left out with him, he was everywhere. He was in the kitchen. He was in OR. He was at camp. Yeah. He was with the children. He was moving stuff. He was in the bathroom cleaning. Because all of us have different offices. He was the only person that was allowed to move freely anywhere he wanted. Because everywhere he went, he helped. And remember, Christ always prayed for more laborers. So that's why he stood out. And that's why everybody knew him. He was able to move anywhere freely through the school. He would come behind where we stood, where we restricted people, because he would come there, he would fix our Bibles, he would put our stuff away, he would fold my garment up, he would remove my plate without being asked. My first encounter with him was, I forgot, he recovered some money from a lawsuit. And he pulled me to the side privately. He tells me, I got such and such $1,000, I want to give it to the school. I said, I don't know you. He just wanted to give everything over to us. We had to have a discussion, and finally we told him, just give this portion. And then you know what he said to me after that? What can I do so that if something happens to me and I die, everything goes to the school? Okay, so that was a type of brother. And I didn't know him yet. He was new. And you know when people are new, you want to keep them at distance. You thought that he was just overstepping his boundaries. But then after all the time we spent with him, we saw this is just how this guy is. He's sincere, he's genuine, he's true. In the freezing cold, he would walk sisters to the train. Some of you sisters know it. I would see him carrying babies. I would see him pushing carriages. Okay, in the freezing cold, when some of y'all would complain that you don't want to leave your house, he would come 2.5 hours and change in Brooklyn, and then ride the train back to Brooklyn, knowing at any time he could get sick. And that's why, like Deacon Malachi said, what made him exceptional was the effort that he put forth. Okay, he did things that other brothers, you would have to ask them 10 times. He was everywhere and anywhere you needed him at any time, and that's what made him great.
That is the name all of us should think about. What are we going to be remembered for?
Right.
Who are we going to be? The day comes when we pass away, what will be mentioned of us? And with that brother, his name is gold amongst us.
Bishop.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Deacon.
Yeah. My only words I would say, man, the definition of a good man, that be that brother, the officers right there. The little time we had with him, then we take our head out to you, man. We salute you in IUIC. You're always going to be a part of our memories, brother. All right? Shalom.
Listen, for me, you know, I'm kind of the outside looking in the headquarters. You know, I live in Oklahoma. But when you think of headquarters and you think of the members there that's putting in work, you can't tell me you don't think of Brother Barak Bar. That man, he had his hand in everything. Every time I seen anything being done, whether it was Passover down here or when I took the trip up to New York to see the school, that man was putting in work. Matter of fact, he is actually a wonderful example of what we're supposed to be doing, pressing this truth, especially on social media. I dare you to go to Barak Bar's page right now and see if you see any nonsense on his page, on his Facebook. That man, I think he shared every post that I ever made on my page and everybody else. His page was about pushing this truth. He wasn't on social media playing games and chit-chatting. He was trying to spread this word. That man, like I said, all praises be to the Most High. We got to spend time with this warrior and learn from him.
Right, and even the place where he stayed, the people that's in the building where he was at, they all know him for that. His characteristic, the way he was with us, was the same way it was where he lived at. They all had beautiful things to say about him, because that was the way he was. It was not an act. That's why I say he wasn't doing this to be he wasn't doing it for notoriety reasons. This was what he was about. Awesome. I miss him terribly. Because he actually helped me, and while we were putting the school together, he was one of the very diligent brothers that would be the first one on the school, be the first one there. We'd have to open up the school for him. Everybody else is coming later, and he traveled on the train 2.5 hours every day. Awesome, and that's the reason why he's featured in the video that we did on the school, the construction of the school, but also in the older school, the one on Paulding. Captain Hananiah mentions him during his interview, how he would sweep up after everybody, because his objective was, we need to get the school done, and if the place is messed up and dirty or whatever, the school it'll be hindered. So he just took that on himself, never was told anything. And if we want to honor our brother, why don't we learn from how diligent he was without a complaint, without mouth, nothing. He just did it. And if we want to honor our brother, think about how he affected us. And let that be a reflection within your own spirit. That's how you truly honor somebody. Not just rah-rah and then go back to being Negroes. No.
I also want to take a second and make a mention for a few things. One, Officer Ozma out of Colorado. Where's he at? Can you get Officer Ozma?
Always in the kitchen.
I want everybody to understand something. I don't know if we ever mentioned it before, but behind scenes, what it takes to make this go on, what all of you see is this part of it. But there's a backstage of stuff going on. When you were sleeping, when you were hanging out and partying last night or what you're doing, there's something else happening to make this machine move. And it's far bigger than you perceive. But I want to mention something. I'm looking for Officer Ozma. Where is he? Is he here? Oh, he's in the kitchen?
Yes. Behind the scenes.
He's still behind the scenes. I thought,
Bishop, it's heavy that you pointed that out, because from time to time, he'll text me. He won't call. He'll text me, and his text to me is, what can I do to help? I'm like, you're in Denver. We're in New York. And he's texting me, asking me, what can I do to help? Okay? And that type of spirit is genuine, because we always need help. So it's amazing. Look, we're looking for him now to give honor to him, and he's behind somewhere. This is the way he is all the time. He's not out here when we need to honor him, because he's always doing work. And remember, that was one of the prayers that Christ prayed for, more laborers, because spirits like that are exceptional.
so we're going to wait for Officer Ozma. 1 second, it should come out the back. Because I want you all to see him, get a visual. Because he came last night, but it was at the end of it. And he just stood there, and nobody really may not know who he is. He's out of Colorado. He is the officer that's over that camp. What happens while we're waiting for him, and behind scenes, Officer Ozma came here almost a month ago to help prepare for Passover. The preparation for Passover is not you fly in the day of or 2 days before. He was here a month before, helping plan out the menus, helping shop for the stuff, where we're going to prepare the stuff up, making sure that we have everything in order. So last night, what you saw move seamlessly is because he orchestrated. And I'm going to tell you something. For myself, the last 2 years has been the first time when I really had a chance to disconnect from the food part of what, meaning I don't have to think about it. And that's priceless for me, because usually I'm always in that mode. Brother, the last 2 years you've been involved, you have slowly offered me the opportunity to step away from that production part of it. I want you all to know something. This brother has worked so hard to put this on. With other people too. But I want to mention him because the food, to push out that much food, trust me, it's beyond what I can do. There's somebody, and I can cook, but this brother right here, I don't even know how he do it. He's a machine. So we salute you, brother. Thank you for all your hard work. You are priceless right now to us. Brothers want to stand for you. Okay. All praises to the Most High God. All praises to the Most High God. The Most High sends laborers as he sees fit into this body at his time. And we've grown so much that the Most High is sending people with certain sets of skills that can take us to the next level. Like I said, for years I've always cooked Passover. You see my kitchen broke down trying to do it. But the numbers get to a point where it's even beyond my capability. And the Most High decides, you know what? I woke somebody up for that. Somebody else who can do that. Who can do more than you can do. And we praise you, because Naday, I'm telling you something. Many of you who don't cook on that level, it's incredible what this brother's doing. And he's doing it with very little people around him. So, brother, we thank you again, and thank the Most High you blessed us with us in this congregation. I pray you endure for years to come. And I want to mention all the sisters. For the last few years, we've kept Passover in Florida. This year, IUIC Orlando. I know you're out of the comfort zone. You don't know what to do with yourselves because you come as guests. I know you ain't used to that. They keep like, what can I do? I said, just enjoy yourself. But this year, the bishop decided to allow it to be in Texas. Dallas turned out to be the city that we had it in. And I want to say that I'm really pleased with you brothers and sisters in Dallas. Zerubbabel, where you at? Lemuel, where you at? Masharathia, I got your name right. Oh, man. Where you at? Those brothers right here, when I tell you something, young men, what's their rank? 20s? 20s. The brothers are, for young men, they're really little talk with them. Tell them what to do, they get it done. You don't got to think 3 and 4 times. I watch you sisters here in Dallas put this room together. For the first time, you guys did an incredible job. And we salute you all. Look at this room. You already did your thing with this stuff. Really, for real. I had a lot of misgivings at first saying they're young. I don't know if they could do it. But they handle themselves. In Dallas, you have a real good machine right here. Real good machine here in Dallas. So we thank you for all the hard work. And the rest of you out of Texas that came from Austin and help, and Houston that help also, because this was collective. For us now that live here in Texas, we want to show leadership that we know what we're doing. I'm glad you didn't embarrass me, because I would have never heard the end of it. But we did good so far. Well, the night's not over, but still, don't mess up. And we thank you. Also, I want to make a mention to the House of Kazalakia, Sister Ariella. Yes. Can you two stand? That the sister and the brother, they labored. I hope you all realize what it takes to put us on. Now, for years, we had Sister Zuriel, Officer Malachi's wife, that does it, and she's fire. She's been dressing us for years. But Malachi will tell you that it's not easy. To do it, it's not easy work. We're finally, to make it short, they have a position, or they've been in a position where they're able to help us mass produce things now. To do thousands of pieces instead of hundreds at one time. And in the last, since Tabernacle, when the design was chosen, we had about 4 months of production and shipping. Do you understand what it takes to produce and ship over 1,000 garments? So, brothers, sometimes, and sisters, sometimes stand back and understand the selfless act. Because I'm telling you, their houses, if you go into their house right now, it looks like Soweto, South Africa. It's bad. There's things strewn all over the place, no sleep for weeks to make it happen. And all you look beautiful to me. I think all you look real nice. Yep. You know, everybody looks nice. You did a fantastic job. I know Sister Ariella, I know that you was under a lot of stress, but I know Deacon Malachi tell you that it's and from his experience for years of doing his wife, that it's a learning curve. You know, you get better as you do it. I pray that all of you stay in the spirit, and that we thank you very much, sis. Honestly, from me to you, thank you for the work you did, from all of us. I know you didn't get no sleep, your family suffered, but it's all for the glory of the Most High. So we thank you very much for that, all right? Okay, thank you.
about me.
Israel.
Don't worry about me. Don't worry about you.
This is for you. Oh, Israel. This is for you.
And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord. His what? His what? His what? His Lord.
Shalom, Israel. I'm Elder Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. YouTube likes to shut our channels down, as some of you have noticed, ever so often. Subscribing to join IUIC will assure you will always stay connected to our YouTube accounts. We want to do our best to make sure this truth gets out. Please click and join our subscriber YouTube channel called Join IUIC to stay linked to all of our videos. So again, please make sure you subscribe to this Join IUIC channel to get your latest updates from all our YouTube channels. Shalom.